Hey, everybody, what's up? Welcome into Best of the Board here on The Athletic, Wednesday, November 24th, Thanksgiving Eve. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. Happy Thanksgiving to my co-hosts as well. We got a fun show to run through. Rivalry week here in the last week of college football regular season. It's going to be a whole lot of fun, a whole lot of stuff to get to here. It's our last week, guys, of a full slate of games that we get to bet. So we're going to talk through it all on this episode of Best on the Board presented by BetMGM. Of course, I am Michael Beller. I am joined by my two trusty, usual Thursday, but today Wednesday co-hosts, Dan Santaramita. Dan, what's going on? Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. I always love this week because we get games spread out. I love the crowded Saturdays, but you got the Egg Bowl Thursday. We got a bunch of games Friday. Then we got a bunch more games Saturday. It's a fun weekend.
It's a fun weekend. You've got 3 NFL games mixed in on Thursday as well. Really, everything starting tomorrow. One of the best football weekends that we have of the entire year. Maybe the best football weekend we've got, Ari Wasserman.
Yeah, I'm with you, Dan. I kind of like sometimes when all the games are starting at once, I feel a little bit overwhelmed. But being able to take it wave by wave is better. It's like, okay, there's 4 games right now. Let's tackle those games. 4 games after it, Thanksgiving, we're eating, we're watching. It's going to be good. So I don't know what your plays are going to be, Michael, but I need props all day Thursday.
We actually had a special edition of this show, Best on the Board, that we recorded and aired live yesterday with me and Zach Jackson. Zach Jackson covers the Cleveland Browns for us here at The Athletic, and he and I went through the gambling angles for all of the Thanksgiving Day games on that episode. So check that episode out, Ari. Check that episode out, listeners, if you want to get into some fun on Thanksgiving Day with the 3 NFL games that we have. But we've got a full slate of college games to tackle here. First, before we get going, I want to say Black Friday, we all know, big part of this weekend as well. The Athletic has a Black Friday deal going as well. $1 a month you get in the door at The Athletic for a full year. That's $12 for a year. Go to theathletic.com/best on the board to take advantage of this offer. All right, guys, let's get into it. And you know what? Let's get right into it. Biggest game of this rivalry weekend, Ohio State and Michigan. Ohio State 7.5-point favorites right now on BetMGM. Ari, you and I are both on the Buckeyes on this. I'm going to let you start things off here. Personally, I think the Buckeyes cruise.
Anybody on this podcast can give me any reason why this game's going to be close?
No.
No.
I'm with you. I'm betting Ohio State minus 7.5.
Why?
Yeah, I already did too.
I got it 6.5.
Oof.
The second it opened.
That's crazy.
I mean, yeah, and my baby's been alive for almost 2 months now. Her college fund.
Yeah. Lock it in right now.
It's not that big yet, but it's a fund. No, I mean, I honestly, I covered Ohio State for 10 years. Mm-hmm. And every single year I tried to come up with a reason why, or I felt like this game would be close. And it wasn't because I was trying to, make more interesting writing or angles. Like I genuinely thought by game day that these games would be close. It's a rivalry game. It's on the road. Michigan has a very gritty team that's tough. Jim Harbaugh needs to win this to legitimize himself. Mm-hmm. And it's like, if you think about the Jim Harbaugh era, name his biggest win as a head coach, and then add to the fact that he has repeatedly failed time and time again in these situations. And Ohio State's roster is ultra talented, playing on, humming on all cylinders. They hung 49 on a team that beat Michigan. I know this is a rivalry game, but this all adds up to the same old story to me. And if Michigan loses by less than 6, I think that you could make a case that was the most impressive coaching job of Jim Harbaugh's entire tenure at Michigan. And if I lose that game, then let me be wrong. But I'm tired of trying to bend over backwards to try to, come up with the reasons why this game will be close.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on this. And I think that's a very good point that you just made there, that if they cover this spread, if Michigan covers the spread, you could make the argument that it's the most impressive job that Jim Harbaugh has done in any one single game during what has now been a pretty extended tenure at Michigan. And that really should drive you in the direction of Ohio State. We just saw it on
It's talent.
Exactly.
That's all this is.
Exactly what I was going to say. We saw it on display last week. And, as pretty close Big Ten watchers, all of us, right? Me and Dan both live in Chicago and grew up in the heart of the Big Ten. Ari, as you said, you covered Ohio State for 10 years. So we all have had close eyes on the Big Ten for a long time now. And you just see it year in and year out with Ohio State. Sure, there's a Michigan punch up here or a Michigan State punch up there or a Wisconsin punch up here, but the talent disparity between Ohio State and everyone else, including that next tier of teams in the Big Ten, is so stark in almost every single game they play, and it is very easy to see in like 90 out of every 95 Big Ten games that they play. And we saw it last week against Michigan State, a team that's had a pretty nice season. And Ohio State, I mean, it wasn't even a contest. It wasn't a contest from the word go. And Michigan, I think, is a better team. Ari, you've been making this point, right? That just because Michigan State beat Michigan doesn't make Michigan State automatically a better overall team. I think Michigan is a better team than MSU, but it's still just such a wide gap in talent between these two teams that I want to ride with the team that has that immense talent.
Can I give you this statistic? And I don't know if it's 100% factual in the sense that I've got the numbers down exactly.
Yeah.
But I think Ohio State had or has 8 or 9 top 100 players nationally in their wide receiver room, just alone, just the receivers over the course of the past few years. And not just Michigan, the rest of the Big Ten combined at every position, I think only had like 13. Yep. Like the talent, Ohio State has more elite level talent in their receiver room than the rest of the Big Ten has in every room. And it's just there's a stark talent difference. And I've been saying this all year. Michigan, Michigan State, Penn State, they're all kind of indistinguishable to me. So I am starting to worry a little bit that this is some sort of trap that I'm not seeing. Because the spread, I thought the spread would be like 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
Because the Michigan State spread was 19.5. The Purdue spread was 21. Why is this spread begin under a touchdown? It's moved to 8.5. Maybe it just was a wrong read for Vegas, but man, I just don't understand it.
Maybe there's something about, and I don't know this. This is speculation on my part, but it's Ohio State, Michigan. It's in Ann Arbor. It's the last weekend of the season. It's Thanksgiving weekend. Obviously, a lot of eyeballs. Maybe there's a lot of public money coming in on this game. I mean, maybe books feel like they can get a little bit aggressive with this one because of the public interest in this is going to be a whole lot bigger than an early November game between Ohio State and Purdue, for example.
What kind of psychopath would bet Michigan in this game? Explain it. Why would you put yourself through it, even if it's the right side? Somehow, it's like betting against the Golden State Warriors in their prime. It's like, yeah, you might win the bet every now and then, but why would you want to be on the wrong side of the avalanche?
Yeah.
I don't know. Everybody and their brother is on Ohio State. I'm on Ohio State. You're on Ohio State.
Mm-hmm. Dan's on Ohio State.
That's usually a tough pill to swallow. Like if the entire public is on it.
Right.
But give me a reason why this game isn't 48-24.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I can pull it up. I actually have it up because me and my buddy who I do this pool with, we're going through it together and we have to pick the actual score of this. I've got 45-31 down for Ohio State,
which would be a tremendously successful day for Michigan, in my opinion.
yeah, exactly. It just feels like that sort of game where it's like
10-2 with a competitive in Ohio State game. Yeah. If you would have said that for Harbaugh before the year, you guy would have won the Nobel Prize.
Snap it up in a heartbeat. Yeah. Absolutely. This is going to be, I think, at least a fun game. It's going to be a fun game to watch, even if it ultimately isn't close. And then we fast forward to next week in the Big Ten championship game. But we've got a few other games that we got to get to before we can call this a show. So let's get on to that. Dan, your first pick takes us away from Ohio State and Michigan and to Virginia and Virginia Tech, where you find a play on the total that you like. The total is 62.5. What do you got for us here?
Yeah, I like the under for this rivalry game. Now, here's the thing is Virginia Tech's a little bit of I start with my disclaimer in the beginning. Virginia Tech's got an interim coach. Maybe they play a little different. But I don't think this team really can play shootout. And as much as Virginia wants to play them, Virginia Tech has only gone over this number 3 times this year. It was the last 2 games. Even Virginia, as much as they've had scores in the hundreds, they've only gone over this number 5 times. I don't think this is quite the... I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's going to be a high-scoring game. Virginia Tech if Virginia Tech wants to win, they have to keep it low-scoring. They can't win a game 40-35. They're going to lose that one. They tried to do it last week with Miami and they lost 38-20 or something like that. I don't know. Virginia to me is, one of those teams with the over-unders where they can play 100 points against BYU and then they'll play somebody else and it's, back in the 50s or 60s. And Virginia Tech is one of those teams that really just won't get dragged into a shootout. It's kind of a random play for me, to be totally honest, but I like the number. I see the matchup like that. Virginia Tech can't play that many points. So that's my play on the total here. I like the under because Virginia Tech has to keep it lower scoring if they want to win.
I'm blindly tailing.
Oh my god!
I love the
I saw you
faith.
getting ready to say something, and I did not think that's what it was going to be.
Yeah, no, I love the idea of taking the under in a game where everybody auto takes the over. In Virginia this year has kind of brought out that feeling with people. I've been taking Ole Miss unders all year, and it's been working out for me. So this play seems to make a lot of sense, especially considering the fact that Virginia Tech looks like it's playing in quicksand half the time. So, right. I'm in. Sign me up.
There we go. Blindly tailing.
Can we talk about the Egg Bowl real quick just because it's a fun game?
Yeah.
What do you think about that one? Because that's Air Raid versus, Ole Miss and their big total. Well, their big lines. You said they've been a good under team. Is this? I looked at this number. Let me see what it is. I'm sure no one else.
1.5 right now.
The line is it's 62 is the total and Mississippi State minus 1.5.
Yeah.
That I don't know. And people seem to like the under in that one, which is kind of crazy. I feel like this could be one of those weird. I don't want to play it because those games are so random and strange all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But that seems like one of those 48-45 Thanksgiving rivalry games. But I seem to be the only one who thinks that.
Yeah, I think that everybody understands that this game is going to be nuts.
Yeah.
The thing that is weird about nuts is the manifestation of nuts in this game might be 17-10.
Yeah.
Because that would be the craziest possible Egg Bowl on the face of the earth. So, I think that the inclination for everybody is to take the over in this game. Also, who wants to take an under on Thanksgiving evening? But I think the under is probably the play here.
Yeah.
Because Ole Miss's defense has actually been playing pretty well.
Yeah.
And, those times too, it's like the air raid is pretty scary. But if a team figures it out, it doesn't work. So I don't know that Lane Kiffin's team is going to be able to figure it completely out, but 31-24 seems like a type of score that could finish this game.
It's a great companion to Bills and Saints, which I think could be. I don't know if I want to say it's an underwhelming NFL slate with the way things have shook out over the last couple of weeks. But Mississippi State Egg Bowl, definitely a great companion to Bills and Saints. Games that you can find, of course, to play on BetMGM, our gambling partner here at The Athletic and the presenting sponsor of Best on the Board. Be sure to go over there, check them out. Bet 10 to win 200 right now, plus get a free year-long subscription to The Athletic. Just go to BetMGM.com/TABest to take advantage of this offer from the king of sportsbooks. Again, it is bet $10, win 200. Any bet, whatever it is, bet 10, win 200, plus get a year-long subscription to The Athletic. BetMGM.com/TABest. New customer offer over at BetMGM. Terms and conditions apply. All right, guys, a couple more picks here from us. Let's get into this Wisconsin-Minnesota Paul Bunyan Axe game. Dan, you've got to play on a side. I've got to play on the total for this one. So let's just talk about this game, wide-ranging. Badgers can lock up a bid into the Big Ten championship game where they'll get destroyed by Ohio State, I am sure. But 6.5-point favorites in this game in Minnesota. You like the Badgers.
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like there's always a few teams every season that have this horrific start, whether it's tough schedule or quarterback change or whatever, and then ends up being a trendy hot pick towards the end of the year. And that has absolutely been Wisconsin's season this year. They were 1-3, got blown out by Notre Dame and Michigan, and lost a weirdly close game to Penn State where no one could move the ball. And now all of a sudden they're just on fire. Now, granted, they haven't played anyone as good as that since, but Minnesota is definitely in the tier of teams they've been beating. And it's funny because I hit a Minnesota pick last week, but that was mostly an IU fade, and that worked out terrifically. I think Indiana had 7 passing yards at halftime. It was absurd. So Minnesota, look, as Ari said last week when we talked about them, they've lost to Iowa and Illinois, teams that Wisconsin has obliterated recently. And the only team to really hang with Wisconsin in the last 4 or 5 weeks is Nebraska, and they hang with everybody. And even that was 7 points, which is a cover here. This being less than a touchdown kind of doesn't make sense to me. this is another one like Ari talked about, Ohio State and Michigan. Ohio State just owns that. How many Bell, are you know the Wisconsin? Do you know the numbers on this rivalry? They're like 16-1 in the last 17 meetings.
Yep, exactly. 16 of the last 7. I was going to say 17 of the last 18, but 16 of the last 17. And I didn't care about Wisconsin until I went to Wisconsin. My freshman year was 2003, and so I didn't experience a loss in this rivalry until I was like 35 or something, which was which is pretty great. It was pretty fun, and I'm with you on this. I think that they ultimately control this game too, and I think this game goes over. This is basically just a bet on the fact that 38.5 is a comically low number. No matter how good Wisconsin's defense is, no matter how much I do think they can control this game and cover that 6.5 comfortably, 38.5. This is a reaction to that being too low a number for almost any game. That's why I really like this going over. I'm not going to say that I've got an X's and O's reason. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like this matchup and that matchup, whatever. This is a pure gambling play. 38.5. That is really, really low, you guys. And so that's why I think this goes over. And I think the Badgers could get to 35 on their own, similar to what they did against Nebraska last week. So really not asking too much from Minnesota to show up a little bit. I think to get this over the number. Either of you guys dislike that?
Do we believe that Wisconsin's offense has figured it out? Or do we believe that Wisconsin has gotten the Big Ten bump? I
think more than anything, it's just a result of them being in the Big Ten West and getting to do what a good-ish team gets to do against Big Ten West competition.
Well, this is what they're playing, so I guess
exactly.
They're playing. I mean, we're talking 30, 27, 52, 35, and 35 in their last 5 games. So if Wisconsin's offense has figured it out, then I think that this number gets there easily. The thing I don't know is I got burned a lot by Wisconsin in the first half of the year. I think I was on the wrong side of the Wisconsin coin. And when you're on the wrong side of the Wisconsin coin, it is brutal. So I think that it'd be impossible to play under 38.5. So I understand your point of view. But it's just a matter of which Minnesota team shows up too, because Minnesota on the right days, especially, when they're playing in, their home building, they can show up, but at the same time, they also have, lost to Bowling Green. So it's just, I like Wisconsin and the over in this. So you guys, I'm with you on both of these.
Well, I mean, if go ahead, Dan, what do you got?
No, these Big Ten overs every week. I see like Iowa in the 30s, Wisconsin in the 30s. They're so tempting, and then you realize that these teams are inept at offense. So like it is a sicko bet, even if it's like in those numbers. Like I know with Ole Miss, I had some automatic unders when they were in the 80s. Like, well, you give me 80 points, I'll play the under. I don't care who they're playing. And I feel like when you're in these numbers, I'll play the over, but I don't know, these Big Ten offenses and quarterbacks.
They say there's nothing more painful than playing an under, but there is.
Yes, it's
playing in games where the offenses are inept.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, if we haven't had enough Big Ten West talk, let's get in a little bit more, because we've got Iowa and Nebraska going head-to-head this weekend. Iowa started out as underdogs, as we talked about before we get going live on this show. Adrian Martinez now out for Nebraska, so Iowa laying a 1.5. And Ari, you're going to ride with those Hawkeyes.
I got Iowa at plus 3.5 earlier in the week, so I'm feeling really, really good about it. But without Adrian Martinez on the field, I like Iowa in this game. I liked Iowa to win the game before. I like them even more now. Like Dan said before the show started, you're betting on Nebraska to lose a close game, and that's what you're doing, and that's all they do all year. And Iowa, though they were, had a nice little stint in the top 2 of America, it's still a pretty good team, with a solid defense that can, is competent enough to, put some points on the board and win this game. So to me, it was kind of crazy. I know the game's in Lincoln that Nebraska was favored in this game. Picking people to, bet on a game that Nebraska has to win close is a tough ask. I know that I'm not in the same situation as laying points with the 3.5, but I think that Iowa is going to win by 4 or more.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one as well. This feels like a comfortable spot, and I liked Iowa too before the Adrian Martinez news. Just had that sort of feeling of they were never one of the two best teams in the country. We all knew that, even when they were ranked number 2. But they're still not a bad team. This is still a team that can do some things, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So like them in this spot against Nebraska. Of course, as we've talked about, the baby knows it is Thanksgiving tomorrow. Give me, before we wrap things up here, give me your favorite thing, absolute number one favorite thing on the Thanksgiving plate. What do you got, Ari?
Stuffing. There's no question about it. And I actually get offended when people don't say stuffing because you don't have stuffing any other time.
That's true. That's true.
That is Thanksgiving. Like if you say mashed potatoes or macaroni, it's like those things are great. Don't get I love carbs. I love all of it. But Thanksgiving is stuffing.
Yeah, that's true. Can't argue with that.
Now I got aggressive about it. Now Dan's like, oh God, I can't say potatoes.
No, I would go pumpkin pie. I mean, if you're gonna make me pick a non-dessert, I'd go with something else. But pumpkin pie is like my favorite dessert on the planet. It's like,
is it really?
It's oh yeah, I love it. I adore it. It's like, yeah. I'm not super picky, although I have bought a couple store-bought ones that were like a little bit off.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
what are you,
I gotta go back to mom's
pie
recipe.
Guy in July though, or what?
No, I mean no.
Oh, okay.
But let me tell you, like I'm one of those like hipstery people who goes to Trader Joe's and it's like September 15 and they already got their Halloween stuff out so early for no reason. But I'm the weirdo that's buying it because like, oh, they got pumpkin spice, everything. This is great. I'm gonna buy like
pumpkin. You're a pumpkin guy. Okay, gotcha.
Pumpkin.
Yeah. It's more a nutmeg and cinnamon thing, I feel like, but it's not really pumpkin.
Can I sort of cheat here and say just like everything mashed together? I feel like I can because it's my own question that I asked.
The best Thanksgiving meal is the day after sandwich that you make.
Yeah,
you make
exactly.
the roll, the turkey, the stuffing, the taters, and sometimes if you want to get real freaky with it, you can put a little macaroni on there, put a little gravy on there, and you got yourself the best sandwich in human history. So
you got yourself a stew going with that right there.
But like, I think that the undeniable side has to be stuffing.
Wow,
I'm not much of a stuffing guy, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay,
either,
I think the show's over.
You know what? It is good timing because actually it sort of is over. We've got to wrap things up here. So it's perfect timing to offend Ari with saying, not so much of a stuffing guy myself. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for listening here to Best on the Board. Very, very important. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the weekend. Have a great Thanksgiving. Eat all the stuffing you want if that's your thing. Whatever it is, enjoy Thanksgiving. Enjoy all the football coming your way. And then on top of that, as we always say, happy betting. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll talk to y'all soon.